Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, the most exciting part of a new Legend release is the level limit break batch and the newest Legends that are receiving their level limit break. I gotta admit, like, level limit break, whilst it's not super game breaking, and I do think they should have done it a lot better, I still get enjoyment from it. Seeing old Legends become viable again it's a lot of fun for me. And as a whale that has these, like, most of these characters maxed, it's really, really cool to see them sort of revitalize a lot of these characters. Do I think they should be better? Yes. Do I think they could have been more innovative with their designs? Definitely. For example, say Super Type Sabo, for example, was a 3 times color affinity booster if you had a Luffy on the team, or if you had an Ace on the team. Something along those types of lines, on top of what they already do, just giving that little bit of extra edge, but still making them very restricted to team building, would have been just absolutely awesome. Because remember, they don't have super types, they don't have super classes, they don't have final taps, they don't have super tams, they don't have all those crazy new shenanigans that we're used to nowadays. However, it is cool to see some of these older characters get revitalized. So let's take a look at what month am I in? October? October's level limit break batch. And if you enjoy this batch, let me know in the comment section below. But don't forget to belt the like button. If you're new, hit the big red subscribe button, and let's check out the Legends. Alright, so the first Legend on the list is actually V1 Blackbeard, my OG! V1 Blackbeard was a character that I completed most of the game with. When I first started playing the game, I actually utilized this guy, and I ran a powerhouse team with, obviously, all the requirements of fighter, shooter, slasher, and striker on the team, with a friend V1 Akainu, because I just couldn't pull that mofo to save my life. And then I pulled stuff like Cat Viper and, what was the other character I used to run a lot of? I can't remember. But once I pulled Cat Viper, I started really running him. So, let's take a look at Blackbeard. Now, with his non-limit break expansion, so this is just his level limit break, he bypasses normal defensive effects with normal attacks, but also removes the defensive effects from your crew, which is exactly the same. If a fighter, striker, slasher, or shooter character on the crew boosts the attack by 4.5 times, HP by 1.3 times, makes Dex Orbs beneficial for the crew. And if the crew launches a special that applies damage reduction, threshold reduction, or damage null, will convert that into a boost color affinity boost by 1.7 for 1 turn. So, very reminiscent of V3 Blackbeard and Super Tandem Blackbeard. Basically, this guy will just give you a color affinity boost if you apply any sort of damage reduction effect on yourself. Remember, this is actually pretty good because, like, those damage reduction effects don't actually work for this particular character. So now actually having a benefit of actually getting a color affinity boost for the entire crew is actually pretty cool. I wish it was like an attack boost or an orb boost, something like that, but color affinity, it's actually pretty intricate, because if you hybrid him up with some of the other Blackbeards, and you actually do that type of shenanigans, namely like your V3 and your Super Tandem Blackbeard, the only thing that they don't cover is color affinity, right? So like they give an attack boost, like Super Tandem gives an attack boost, oh wait, no, he gives a chain boost, and he gives a base stat boost, I'm pretty sure, and then like the other Blackbeard gives an attack boost and something else. So this is actually pretty cool. It's pretty interesting that they have sort of kept that in mind. With Limit Break expansion, it just seems that he gets 4.75, and that's pretty much it. Oh, he also gets the added effect of having an int orb beneficial to the crew, which is pretty interesting. So an extra orb matching, an extra high, like an extra 0.25. Not bad. 4.75, but ignoring all defensive effects, you need to remember that is still very, very strong. His special reduces bind and attack down by 6 turns. Off the top of my dome, I'm pretty sure that he only used to remove bind, if I remember correctly. I'll have to, like, triple check that. But getting the attack down, if that is the case, is actually huge. Like, that's a really, really good addition. Yeah, he gets attack down, and it's an extra turn. That's awesome. It's 6 turns of attack down, 6 turns of bind, changes block orbs into matching, which he already did, and if the crew has normal attacks only, he deals 1 million damage to all enemies, ignoring defensive effects and NAO. He then boosts the crew's attack by 2.25 for 2 turns. Otherwise, he'll reduce all enemies' HP by 30%, reducing defensive effects. This is a massive buff for this character. That special got so much better. Holy shit. They basically gave him the Dofi and the bullet effect, where if there is normal, and the category effect, I guess, where, like, if there's normal attacks only, not only do you get a free million damage, but then you also get a 2.25 times rainbow attack boost for 2 turns. That's actually really good. Really, really good. On top of that, too, they added attack down, which is massive. This is a great buff. Like, a really, really good buff. His captain ability, like, what did it gain? It gained an extra 0.5 to this. And then he also got this whole shenanigan, which I really like. This Blackbeard got really good. Do I think he's game-breaking? No. Do I think he's the best Blackbeard in the game? Definitely not. But to see V1 Blackbeard get these kinds of buff is actually pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. I like it a lot. My boy, Blackbeard. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, so next we have Mr. Hody Jones. Now, for you guys that loved Hody in the speed farming era, this was your man. Like, you ran a powerhouse team. This guy gave you so many cooldowns that it wasn't even funny. It was an absolute demon. However, let's take a look at what he does with his Limit Break expansion. So, which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one here. Okay, cool. So, he reduces, with no Limit Break plus, he reduces the cooldowns, crew's cooldowns by 2 turns, but reduces crew's HP at the end of each turn. He then boosts powerhouse and shooter characters attack by 4.5 and HP by 2. Okay, so they added the shooter tag, right? But they reduced the cooldown by 1 turn. So Hody used to be 3-turn cooldown, and he only used to boost powerhouse characters. He only used to boost their attack by 3.5. However, you needed to run 6 powerhouses on the crew, and you got up to 2.5 times HP if you ran 6 powerhouses. Super interesting now that he's now a shooter booster. Very, very interesting. You don't need to run 6 powerhouse characters anymore to get all of the buffs, which is kind of cool. Plus, they buffed it by an extra whole 1 times multiplier. Hello? God damn. 2 turns of cooldowns, obviously reducing the cooldowns by 1 is it's obviously nerfed. But the fact that it's not as restrictive, you can use shooter characters, is actually massive. With Limit Break Plus, though, they added the 3, so they kept the 3, and then you get a 4.75 and goes up to 2.5. This is really good. For speed farming, that is really, really good. In my opinion, though, if you were speed farming, you'd probably just use Kid nowadays, the Super Tentative Kid. But this is super good. Like, this is actually super good. Even this is good. Like, damn, Hody, damn. Stage 1 special. Remember, Hody did have a 2-stage special, which basically gives a bunch of cooldowns, really. On stage 1, which is the one you saw most of the time, it was on a 7-turn cooldown. So this should still be on a 7-turn cooldown. Deals int damage to all enemies ignoring defensive effects, so it was great for wave clearing. Reduces powerhouse and shooter character special by 1 turn. Reduces damage taken by 60%, which is exactly the same. And when this stage 1 special is launched, boosts color affinity of powerhouse and shooters for 1 turn based on the number of times this character has launched his own special. 1.75 for 0 times, 2 times for any more times after that. Okay, so they added the color affinity, and they also added this ability that you can get up to 2 times if you pop it more than once, which most of the time with Hody, you were getting it twice, because you would use him for cooldowns, and then you get other characters back, and then you get cooldowns, and you're just rotating specials. Great for wave clearing content. It was a great wave clearer. On stage 2, he deals major int damage to all enemies ignoring defensive effects, boosts powerhouse characters and shooter characters cooldowns by 2 turns, which so just adding the whole shooter thing is just opens a whole different dimension to team building, which is great. Reduces cooldowns by 2 turns, reduces damage taken by 90% for 1 turn, which is the same. And when this stage 2 special is launched, boost the color affinity of powerhouse and shooter characters for 1 turn based on the number of times this character has launched his special. 2 times if you've this is the first time using it, and then 2.25 if you've launched it any times after that. Most of the time, you probably only get it off once. However, because this is like based on the number of times this character's launched his own special. I guess if you pop this one first, and then you pop this one at level 2, you could get the 2.25. That could work. And running 2 Hodies, obviously, like, you could give the cooldowns, which is kind of nice. So there's also that. So, super interesting. I would have loved to have seen him get, like, I don't know, like, in his captain ability, like, I know that they gave him a really good buff, but to just make this sort of work a little bit nicer, I would have loved to have seen him get, like, I don't know, 5 turns of cooldowns on the final stage. Just something silly, you know? Something stupid just to get this again, so you could actually pop this sort of stuff. He was all about giving cooldowns. He was all about wave clearing. The color affinity is nice, but it's not something that you're going to use this character for. Next, we have the god himself, Kami Eneru. Shout out to Sepka Poco. He used to bring this guy everywhere. Like, actually everywhere. It was freaking hilarious. So, Mr. Kami Eneru. I remember pulling this guy on release, actually, when I was back in the day when I was playing. So my first extended animation, I had no idea what the hell was going on. So, he's captain with no Limit Break Plus. So, he doesn't actually have a Limit Break Plus captain ability, which is interesting. He reduces crew's HP by 20% and then reduces damage taken by 15%. Boosts the crew's attack by 4.5 and boosts crew's attack by up to 5.25 instead, depending on the amount of HP healed in the previous turn. He also boosts the chance of landing on recovery orbs and makes them beneficial. If a character hits with their normal attacks on an enemy whose type they are strong against, changes their slot into recovery for the next turn and allows overhealing. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is awesome. This is really, really smart. Like, a really, really good idea. Gotta give props to Mando for that one. Changing the slot into a recovery orb, and then obviously, like, eating those recovery orbs gives you a higher captain ability, and then you can overheal. This is huge, because, like, this guy does damage. Like, this guy does huge damage. Now, to put this in perspective, right, Enel used to be a, he used to reduce damage taken by 13%, now it's 15%. He used to boost the chance of landing on recovery slots to make them matching. And he used to boost crew's attack by 2 times, up to 3.75, depending on how much HP you held. So this has gone up to 4.5 times. That is a fucking huge jump. Like a massive, that is a disgusting jump. That's more than double what he used to do. And then up to 5.25 compared to 3.75 is just absolutely insane. And the difference between 4.5 and 5.25 is 0.75, where it used to be 1.75, which is just monstrous. Disgustingly monstrous. And then they also added this. Damn, Enel. Damn. Obviously, the problem still remains with this guy that, like, normal attacks only is a thing. But they have been rectifying that. So let's have a look at what he does. 30 times... Deals 30 times the HP healed beyond the crew's maximum HP. Now remember, beyond the crew's maximum HP. So that means anything over heal is still counted as beyond the crew's maximum HP. If you have 1,000 HP, you have 1,100 HP out of 1,000 and then heal another 1,000, you're still overhealing past the crew's maximum HP. So he still counts. To all enemies, maxing at 9 million. It used to max at 5, so this is almost doubled. I don't know why they didn't just make it 10. Why didn't you make it 10? Just make it 10. Boost shooter and striker characters' orbs by 2.25 and boost the chain multiplier by 1.1. If the crew has an orb boosting effect when the special is launched, buffs orbs by an extra 0.3. And if the crew is inflicted with normal attacks only, reduces 5 turns of shipbind and paralysis. This is really fitting. I wish it was more, because, like, normal attacks only is just so prevalent. However, they also gave him this. So, it's for shooter and strikers, which is kind of interesting. And most of the time, you're not going to see this anymore. Just with normal attacks only and HP, like, being so stupidly high. 9 million, just, it don't cut it. It doesn't cut it at all. Like, there's no real place that you're going to be using 9 million damage to kill anything. This is just the bottom line. Once upon a time, 5 million was a lot of damage. You could just kill everything. But 9 million and then doing like another 9 million is just like whatever. And at the end of the day, if you could do shit like this, you'd just bring Hawkins or you could bring V2 Katakuri with his level limit break expansion, right? However, 2.25 or booster shooter and strikers and a 1.1 chain boost. And then you could also increase a chain, like an orb boost that you already had. Plus getting shipbind. Like, it seems like shipbind is becoming more of a thing and paralysis is always good to have. So I do like this buff. I think his captain got so much better. Like, so much better. However, Enel's not really a character that you will be running in terms of your captain. So that is his biggest downfall. But I would love to take this guy into some content, man. I would love to take this into some content. For myself, I don't even know what my characters are sitting at, if I'm completely honest with you, with this sort of stuff. I would love to know, like, where my Enel is at. Because, like, he really intrigues me. I actually really like what they're going for with Enel. So I'd be keen to take him some places, you know. I'd be keen to take him. My Enel is sitting at level 3, so unfortunately we're not really going to have the opportunity to take him too many places. Speaking of which, like, what's my Blackbeard sitting at? Like, what are you sitting at, Mr. Beard? Blackbeard is still level 3 as well. He's one off being level 4, so that's a bit of a bummer. And And the other character was Hody. I couldn't tell you how many Hodys I've pulled. I don't think it's been many. Yeah, he's only level 2. So unfortunately, with these types of new level limit break characters, it's very hard to get them maxed out. Oh, I forgot to touch on their Pirate Festival abilities, right? So Blackbeard gives level 7 attack up and gives attack up level 4 for Dex allies. And then all allies receive H up level 3. I don't really know, like... I mean, Blackbeard's good if you're versing... Alright, so I totally forgot to touch on all of their Rumble abilities. Most of the time with these types of characters, they just get an extra 1 stat to most things. But with Blackbeard, he gets an extra level self-up attack level 4 instead of 3. And then he gives Dex allies HP up level 3 instead of level 2. As for his special, he pretty much does all the same stuff, except he gives defense down level 5. But I think he does less damage. Does he do less damage? Does target's strength... He has a 30% HP. Yeah, it seems like he does less damage. But then he gives more defense down. Which is interesting. I don't know if that's how true that is. Because what I can see here is he does a HP cut for 35% damage. 35% reduction and then 2,000 fixed damage. But then level 5. Oh, but then he goes down to a 16-second cooldown. No, he doesn't. He gives a 33-second cooldown. What the hell? Alright, that's whack. Look, at the end of the day, most of these characters you won't be using in Rumble anyway. So, like, if I'm being real with you... I wouldn't really worry about their Rumble too much. But for those of you guys that are interested, I think Enel just got an extra HP up level 7. Did you get a little HP up level 7 Enel? Yeah, HP up level 7, and then gives defense up level 3. As for his special ability, he gives defense down level 5 instead of level 4, and he does a butt ton more damage, 3,500 instead of 2,400. So he gets actually a pretty big buff in Rumble. As for our boy Hody, Hody gives, I'm assuming that it's the CT that you get. You know, CT stays the same, but you get the extra HP up. And as for his special... You get way more damage. So it was 1,700, now it's 2,500, and then the rest of it stays the same. So, interesting Pyro Festival increases. But the next character we're going to talk about is Mr. Magellan, the king of the underworld, the prison guard, or the warden, I should say, whatever the fuck his name was, whatever you call him. I'm pretty sure it's a warden. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a warden. As his captain... In his No Limit Break Plus, he's a 4.25 Rainbow Captain, HP by 1.5, reduces all enemies' HP by 15% at the end of the turn, and if the total damage dealt from normal attacks is over 300k, poisons all enemies for 100 times his own attack, and if each type is on the crew, holy shit, it's Sengoku, guys, no, oh no, reduces damage taken by 10% and heals the crew for by 0.5 for recovery for every perfect you hit at the end of the turn. So it seems like they've just, like... completely got rid of the having every type on the crew, right? He used to have, like, you needed every type on the crew and then boost crew's attack by 3 times. Now it's 4.25, just rainbow. You don't need every type on the crew, which is pretty interesting. And then he still has that that poison ability. He always had that. I had no idea he actually had that, if I'm being low key, no cap. But the poison seems to have gotten weaker. It's 100 times his own attack, where it used to be 150 times his own attack, which is super interesting. As for everything else, he just got higher multipliers. That seems to be the gist of what's going on with this guy. And they obviously just changed the condition where you don't need every type on the crew. So, everyone that's out there hating on Sengoku, like, we already had this in the game. But now, with his Limit Break expansion, he goes up to 4.75, so he gets the extra 0.5. And then his poison becomes 200 times his own attack. And if every type is on the crew, he gets 20% damage reduction instead of 10. And he adds 1 times his recovery instead of... what's it called? He gets 1 times his recovery instead of 0.5, which is also an added ability. I'm just noticing. They didn't actually have the healing, so that's actually pretty cool. His special deals toxic poison to all enemies, starting at 70 times his attack and maxes out at 5 million damage per poison. Delays all enemies for 1 turn, doubles damage to damage dealt to enemies inflicted with poison for 3 turns. Okay, holy. Heals 20 times his recovery at the end of the turn for 3 turns. And if enemies are already inflicted with poison, venom, or toxic when the special is launched, he doubles crew's attack for 3 turns. Okay, so this is already obviously a huge buff. It always maxed at 3 million, not 5 million. The HP was 13 times healing instead of 20 times. He never had that conditional boost, which is new. And then obviously if you are... if you've already got the poison, you then get an attack boost. And the delay that used to be that is now just always. You just always get the delay. So, pretty interesting buff. I still don't think it's that great because obviously like full immunity is a thing. Shout out to my boy Shanks. So, unfortunately, I don't think this is super crazy. But however, if there isn't full immunity, getting the 5 million damage, the double conditional boost is quite nice. Especially because it's for 3 turns. And if you take damage over 30,000, right, he is going to heal. So if you enter a stage and you get like a 50% HP cut, say for example, there's no poison immunity on 2 stages, and you activate his special on turn 4, you get the poison the 3 turns of the conditional, you kill on that stage, and then you move into the next stage, and they hit you, and then it activates the poison with his captain ability. You have that conditional boost, and then you use the other Magellan to get the 3 turns of an attack boost, which is pretty cool. Like, I think this should have been higher. Like 2.5 would have been way better because like it's still very hard to get. But it is a pretty interesting buff, and I am a fan of what they've done. I just don't think it's going to be that incredible for what Magellan is trying to do. His rumble abilities with his special goes up to damage over time level 4, and the special cooldowns level 4 still as well. So that's the same. As for his pirate ability, he goes for HP up level 8 over level 7, and then he gives defense down level 3, which is good. Okay, so that's a bit of a buff. Cool. Mad 666. Alright, next we've got the 2 judges. Now both these judges got their their level limit break expansion, which is actually pretty fitting with the release of Saint Goku, because these 3 characters are 3 of the characters that had this, you had to use all colors on the team. So let's have a look at 6-star Judge first, and then we'll go into 6+ Judge. So 6-star Judge, in my opinion, is the better of the 2. He's a Psi powerhouse driven character, and he has 7 turns of bind removal, which in my opinion was always really, really nice. His captain ability with no limit break boosts the chance of landing on Psi slots, reduces damage taken by 15%, boosts crew's HP by 1.25, and an attack by 4.75 with a matching slot. So that's interesting. So instead of giving a 2.5 times attack, he's now a 4.25 times attack boost, which is pretty good. And it said like, when you have a matching slot, he would give the extra 1.75. Now they've just gone, nah, stuff that. We're just going to give him the 4.75 with the matching slot. So there's no like multiplicative buff. He does still boost the chance of landing on Psi, and the damage reduction is exactly the same. So instead of like making it such low multiplier and then such a high multiplier, they've just kept it a little bit more stable. 4.25 without an orb, 4.75 with an orb. Boost the chance of landing on a Psi slot with his limit break expansion. It reduces damage taken by 15% and boosts crew's HP by 1.25. So exactly the same, but then he boosts attack by 5.25 with a matching slot, 4.25 otherwise, and if every type is on the crew, reduces crew's cooldowns by 2 turns at the start of stage 3. Now that's actually pretty good. That's the Carrot Wonder effect right there. However, I don't recommend limit break expanding a judge for this. But this line right here to get 2 turns of cooldown on stage 3. The Carrot Wonder effect, very, very good. He's special, reduces bind by 10 turns, and then boosts crew's orbs by 2.25, and changes all slots, including block, into Psi, and then boosts the chance of landing on Psi slots for 3 turns. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't make Psi slots matching, does he, as a captain? I mean, I know there were sailors that made Psi slots matching for him. However, this special is just a monstrous buff. Blind by 10 turns is disgusting. It was already 7 turns, which was more than enough. He boosts slot effects by 2.25 instead of doubling them now, and then changes all slots, including block, into Psi, and then boost the chance of landing on Psi slots for 3 turns. You used to have to be a captain, friend captain, or helper captain to slightly boost the chance of landing on Psi slots for 1 turn, and then changes all slots randomly, including block slots. Now you just get a full board of Psi slots, which is very, very good. So you just need a sailor that can make the matching, and you're pretty much good to go. As for his Rumble special, you get level 6 instead of level 5 of the attack up. And his Rumble ability, you get defense down level... defense up level 4 instead of defense up level 3, as well as attack up level 7 instead of attack up level 6. Which is pretty stock standard when it comes to the Rumble stuff. So that's 6-star Judge. The final character is obviously 6+ Judge, the big Garuda. Now this is the int version of Judge. He has that Germa batch. He boosts the chance of landing on int orbs with his non-level limit break, and makes int and badly orbs have matching slot effects, which was basically the same from what I can see. He then reduces damage by 15% and boosts crew's HP by 1.25, 4.75 times attack with matching slots, 4.25 times otherwise. So basically the same as like 6-star Judge. It's just obviously he's the in variation, and he gets the badly matching slots, which he always had. With limit break expansion, he boosts the chance of landing on in slots, makes int and badly matching slots counters beneficial, reduces damage by 15%, which is exactly the same as the top part there. He basically just gives the 5.25 instead of the 4.75, and then 4.5 if you don't have an orb. And if you have every type on the crew, he gives 3 turns of cooldown at the start of stage 3. So instead of the 2 turns that this Judge gives, you get 3 turns with this Judge. So pretty nice. The special reduces Despair by 10 turns. That's interesting. I don't remember him doing that. Reduces Despair by 10 turns, and then reduces damage taken by 60% for 2 turns, which is way better than the 30% that he had. Boosts Powerhouse-driven and fighter characters' attack by 2.5 for 1 turn, which is way better than doubling them from what he used to. And then changes all slots, including block, to int, and if every type is on the crew, buffs attack boost by 0.25 and extended for 1 turn, including the attack boost launched by the special. So basically, if you have every type on the crew, you get a 2.75 times attack boost for 2 turns. I wish that was for 3 turns, but look, it is what it is. We take those. 2.75 times attack if you have every type on the crew is actually fairly decent. I can't complain with that. His Rumble stats, basically the same as what you saw up here. He just gets the extra attack up, and he gets the extra attack up here as well. So, overall, a pretty good level limit break expansion patch. Who I think is the best? Look, it's hard to say. I don't think any of these characters are super game breaking in terms of like what their level limit break does. I really like Blackbeard. I really, really like Enel. I'd love to see Enel in some content. But for what the buffs did for the characters, it's a very, very good step in the right direction. And I also like that they sort of kept it tailor-made to the specific level limit break of those particular characters. But let me know your thoughts and opinions of these characters in the comment section below. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you care? Do you not care? But make sure to belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!